Hi guys, Keith from the Divorce the Horse here, and today we're going to talk about beating the summer heat in your vehicle. Now, one of the first things you need to do is really make sure that your AC system inside your van is maintained. So if it develops a leak and won't hold a charge, it's going to be expensive, or the compressor goes bad, it's going to be expensive. But you really need to fix that because it's maybe only one of the ways you can get out of the heat. You know, if you're out camping in the countryside or something like that. The other thing is, of course, you know, the portable battery-operated fan. I have one of those, and it has a USB plug to it to charge it. So I just plug that into one of those power supply batteries and connect it to the shelf next to my bed, and it makes all the difference in the world. I mean, even when it was like 85 degrees in the van, I'd have that blowing on me for about half an hour, 40 minutes, and I'd get too cool and have to shut her down. So that's a good plan, and those run about 25-30 bucks. Eventually we'll put those links down so you can buy those from our store. And also today we're going to do a review on a brand new product, the ARTIC AIR Evaporative Air Cooler, which is basically like an old school style air conditioning unit. You know, there are plenty of tutorials on YouTube on how to make one out of like a small pop cooler and a battery powered fan. And basically you put cubes of ice in that one. This one you just dump in cold water. So I picked this one up at Walmart for 40 bucks. And we're going to take a look at it. You know, we're going to open it up, do a review, and tell you how it works. You can read all the features it has, what it comes with, you know. So this particular cord here can also be patched into one of those portable battery units, so you can run it off one of those portable battery units, or you can plug it into the wall. So that's really good. They have a cheaper one for like 40 bucks, which is just this cord, but that one also has a feature that you can run it on 4 AAA batteries. Now I don't know how long those would last, but the alternative to that is just buying rechargeable, you know, AAA batteries or AA batteries, and keeping enough charged up on hand. So you know, it's not going to cost you any more money just to switch out the battery. Get to this unboxing, guys, and see what we have inside with this cooler. Like I said, we are going to test it today, but I don't expect great results because it is very, very humid. And once again, this is an evaporative cooler, which means it relies on the water inside the tank area to be evaporated into the dry air, adding moisture. If there's already moisture in the air with high humidity, it's not going to work very well because it's meant for dry heat. So this is probably a device that is probably better served for you know, folks down in the south regions. You know, this probably work really well down in Texas or Arizona or California, places like that, Nevada, Utah. Up here in the upper Midwest, a lot of times it's really humid in the summertime, but there are a lot of times when it's not humid and it's just 90 degrees out. So let's see what we got inside here. So that's the box you would be looking for. All these features. It's got the color changing LED lights on the side if you're afraid of the dark. I personally wouldn't waste energy on that feature if I built this, but you know, they need to be fatty. It says it runs up to 8 hours on one water fill, and it is the As Seen on TV brand. So let's pop this box open, see what we got here. They made it human-proof. Ah! There we go. Product guide. ARTIC AIR Evaporative Cooler Product Guide. Brought to you by the As Seen on TV folks. Here we go is the USB power adapter. You know, you can always use one of those if the cooler doesn't work very well. Power cord that comes with it, USB on one end, looks like the mini micro adapter on the other end, and in the box we have our new air conditioner. Let's take her out. Get out of here, box. Look at that. Seems to be a good packaging, so not that cheap. It feels like the device is fairly heavy. I'm going to pull it out of the plastic bag here, which is going to require both hands, so I'm going to put the camera down here. And we're going to take it out and plug her in and see what she does. So I opened up the book here, and immediately I wanted to see what kind of power this thing consumes, just so you're aware. And those are the specs for that. I'm going to disregard the household use only because it's going to my van, and that is my household. But I'll be running this off of battery power. Most likely one of the larger battery banks that you can buy, the rechargers. That's probably what I'll run this off of. Or my in-house lawnmower battery bank that's in that box that I run my DVD players off of. So anyway, that's the specs for that. It's 120 volt AC. It's 5 volt DC, and runs at 1.5 to 2.0 amps. So here we go. We got the power adapter here. The unit simply pours water in the back hatch over here, like this. And you fill that reservoir up and let her fly. It's supposed to run about 8 hours. Now I want to run an experiment here. I'm going to put in just room temperature tap water, and then later I'm going to put in colder water and see if, you know, adding cold water makes a difference. So now the unit is all plugged in, and we're going to add the water and see what happens. Adding the water. That was about half full in the reservoir. That's good. Okay. And magic time. Now, look at that. That's pretty cool. It's got a beautiful blue light to it, you know, for like a night light. It would be nice in the bedroom or, you know, in the RV at night. Let's see what features we have. Oh, we can change the color. Match your LED lighting in your van. How sweet is that? I guess I like this extra added feature in the more expensive unit. Or no light at all, save power. That's great that that's optional. And the fan speed, it looks like it has 3 speeds, fast, slow. Okay. So bring this close here, and even though it's humid, I do feel a temperature difference coming from this unit. You know, it actually feels pretty good. Kind of like your car air conditioner on low, just when it starts to need to recharge. You know, it's still cool, but it's not, you know, freezing you out yet. But this has only been running for like 30 seconds. So I'm going to let this run for about 10 minutes, and I'm going to come back and see if this ARTIC Air cooler has gotten any cooler. And here we are just a little bit later, and I answered the question. The air is actually cooler the colder the water you put in there. I suppose that makes sense. It's an evaporative cooler. But I just had to see if there was a difference, you know, if the cooling process relied on a certain temperature for better evaporation. But yeah, colder water makes for colder air coming out of this little unit. It's about this far out, and I think it's a nice little unit actually for $40. I mean, that's colder than what the fan would put out on me. And so I guess the secret is to either have a fridge with bottled water, because this holds one whole bottle of water, or get your bottled water and keep it in a fridge at work, and a freezer and an ice pack. You know, an ice pack up in the freezer at the break room at work, and then put those in your cooler at the end of the day, and then you have cold water for your bedtime, you know, snoozes and drinking. So I think I'm going to give this a thumbs up here. For $40, it actually puts out some pretty good cool air. If you were to put that right next to your bed, that would feel fabulous. So, as you can see, I am sweating like a pig. Because of the humidity, it's like 95 degrees out right now with 85% humidity. And this is dangerous heat, guys. Dangerous, dangerous heat. I mean, you know, people have heat stroke and heart failure and all sorts of horrible things in this kind of heat. And so you really need to know how to take care of yourself when you're on the road. You know, one of the things, of course, is keep a lot of cool water or some Gatorade or Powerade or something like that in a cooler, and drink a lot of that, because keeping hydrated is the #1 important issue. You know, it's going to keep you from having heat stroke, and that's important because you don't want that. You get really sick. And then plus, once you've had it, you're more susceptible to get it later on, and much easier. Ventilation in your vehicle or your camper or your tiny home is very important, so make sure there's plenty of ventilation in that when you go to start out. I just want to tell you something. I have a thermometer inside my van, and it was like 87 degrees and not humid yesterday. And I went out to my work, and I worked from 8 in the morning to 6 in the afternoon, 6 p.m. And I went out to my van, and I opened the van up, and I checked the thermometer. And you know how hot it was in that side? Oh my God, guys. It was 121 degrees Fahrenheit inside that van. Now, could you imagine sleeping in there? Oh, that's crazy. You know, fortunately, I sleep at night. I don't sleep during the day, so it cools off quite a bit, and I can open up the doors and vent it out before I go to bed. But, you know, that's the downside of insulating the inside of your van. I got sweat in my eye. Wow. It also holds the heat in because you have no cool source in there. So, you know, that's something to think about if you live where it's hot.